In three, two, one. Good afternoon, Pride League. It's a Wednesday. We got a Wednesday edition of our little video, our little weekly updates. I'm going to go over my picks. I'm going to tell you who's fantasy stud, dud, and most improved. We're going to go into the future and predict what's happening this week. But first and foremost, we got another guest on the show. We got a contender. We got a contender in that mediocre Central Division. We got Aaron Hill, team owner of the newly named Hunt for Freedom. First and foremost, what's going on with the names of your team, and why have you settled on Hunt for Freedom? It seems like you've settled.
I haven't settled. Trust me.
Okay, so you're still deciding names throughout the year. Halfway through the year, deciding.
Look, I don't want to give away my fantasy scheme, but the name change might keep going. I still need to start winning, so even if I gave you all my details, it probably wouldn't work right now.
So
but
your team name is indicative of you winning, and
oh my goodness,
it's
right
entwined?
Now it seems like it is this year. It seems like it is. I'm all about the energy flow of things, and so far the only time that my team has won when Kirk's was going crazy over Baldwin, and you know what?
Shitty name. I'm just gonna let you know it's a shitty name, but if it works, I mean, if the shittier the name is, you need to get away from Hunt for Freedom, because Hunt for Freedom is pretty good. I like that. And then your little photo, was that somebody kneeling while singing the national anthem?
Singing the national anthem. Oh man, that went hard. Like, who does that? Who has the voice and the range to still make that happen? That's a beautiful thing right there.
That's a statement.
That is a very big statement.
Let's go ahead. We don't want the video to be too long. That's my mantra each week. Okay. I don't want the video to be too long. So let's go ahead and recap week 5. Week 5 was a pretty interesting week for everybody. Let's go ahead and say that it was a horrible week in real football, but in fantasy, I think it was glorious. At least for me. I'm not sure about anybody in that Central Division, but let's go ahead and look at my picks. Let's go ahead and look at my picks, shall we? Let's start off with Disabled Vigilantes versus Lazy Pugs. I had myself winning that one. There was really no doubt, especially when we came up on the Sunday night game where my trade for Deshaun Watson and Cooper kind of panned out. What did you think of that trade?
I like Watson. I'm not going to lie to you. The fact that he's a mobile quarterback in a system like that, it's going to play out for a lot of big points. Matt Ryan on that, I feel like you won that trade because Kupp is going to be is going to be a PPR beast. Watson's going to be throwing 50-yard touchdowns every week or getting you some run plays. That Atlanta offense, we're not so sure about that. Like, I know their record says they're good, but how good are they really? And is Julio Jones going to be able to stay on the field this season? Matt Ryan is not the MVP that he was last year. Like, everybody knows the defense. You see the offense play for 1 year. Now you go back and you're like, okay, let me look at some video and see where I can stop that.
Not to mention, I like your trade. Garcia. I don't even know how to say the dude's name, but I think there's some disconnect between Matt Ryan and the OC. I really believe that is not the same as when Kyle Shanahan just gave him the reins.
That is very true. I like the trade. I mean, Hogan is a very white wide receivers, and the Patriots are always going to do well. Okay, right. And if you can be healthy and you're going to do good. Hogan is beast as a wide receiver, and is it the best wide receiver on the Grinders Rails team? Possibly. If Crabtree has Derek Carr thrown to him like he does, then he's good. Like, it was a good trade for both players.
I think so too. I really believe so. And when Cooper Kupp had that touchdown, he had a touchdown that was supposed to come through at the end of the game. When they went to him, that's what really woke me up. Was like, Cooper Kupp's going to be in this offense. He's going to be in this offense, I like that. He's going to be here to stay.
Sammy Watkins, we don't know what's going to happen with him. He's looking like, but Kupp, I like Kupp.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to I'm 1-0 in my picks. Like, I'm going to tell you, I did really good in my picks this week. Let's go to Chicago Chalupas versus Miami Dice. Now, Jeffrey White, this was a bad matchup, but he really had some problems on that team. I mean, the champ coming off of his most Dudley performance is now, doing his thing. He's going and doing his thing.
He finally got a running back that actually produced. Let's say that. Well, he got a lot of points this week, okay? Let's not go overboard. He still had easy wins in the beginning. His record is indicative of the Atlanta Falcons, okay? So let's not put him over the top. Like let's not put him back there yet. He's still in a tough division, and he's only in second. So come on.
Well, I had Chicago Chalupas winning that. I thought it'd be closer, but I mean,
why didn't he start? Why did he take Cam out? First off, like, how do you have Kelvin Benjamin and then you're gonna like, oh, let me just take out my quarterback who's gonna throw him all these touchdowns? Man, that was dumb. For Eli Manning against the Chargers defense is underratedly good. That those cornerbacks are very good, and we know what Bosa and Ingram are gonna do. That linebacker core is gonna do. Eli Manning, come on, man. There's just lineup issues now. He still wasn't gonna win because Chalupas did put on a great performance, but that was just bad decisions. And Houston's defense getting negative.
Kansas City?
Wow. Hey, that's the truth. For real, Kansas City going to the Super Bowl would not be surprising because they play up to their best competitions and they stomp them. Like, they'll let them play some points, but they can play. Alex Smith ain't trying to lose his job yet.
No. Plus, he needs to make dollars next year. He's not done with football. He might be playing somewhere else, but he's not done. And I just think Miami Dice made some dicey decisions going up against the champ. It was just, ugh.
You are going to have to go hard going up against the champ, but he finally did. He did get a running back. Aaron Jones looks decent in Green Bay's system. I knew it couldn't be Montgomery forever. They had to find a running back. I thought it was going to be Williams. Jones came through, so. But yeah. Gordon, yeah. Solid.
Good team coming into some bye weeks. I like where the champ's going. Now, the grind is real versus classy strippers. Strippers was predicted to be the dud of the week by our previous guest, Ryan Grove. He did not disappoint Ryan in the least. The grind is real came in and had a pedestrian performance when it comes to, what he's normally put up. And it was just no competition with classy strippers. Any thoughts?
145 is not pedestrian in this league. I mean, I know people are pushing past that with ease these days, especially your squad. But
I'm talking to someone in the Central Division. Continue.
100. Wait. Last week I was the number 3 scorer in the league. Let's calm down. I put up points.
Maybe I erred on the, not on the side of caution when I just said he scored a pedestrian 145. My apologies. He scored to me, which is the standard to win. Which is
That's true.
145.
Exactly. That's what I think. He put up a good performance. The thing is, it doesn't even take a lot. It takes like 3 solid players, and that's what you're seeing from all these consistent teams. Classy strippers. I mean, I know he's tied first in the division, but our division is crap right now.
Well, and like to see it, right?
I mean, it is, and he's throwing up like I don't know how these teams are beating it. This is so disappointing. I will get to that, but
we're not on you right now.
We're not.
Is classy strippers the truth? Is what I want to know. Is he the truth?
He needs help. He doesn't have a quarterback. We don't know what Mariota's going to do from here on out. His running back situation needs help. Mixon is not great in Cincinnati's running backs. Even though he's the best running back in Cincinnati, it's still too early. Like, he's no Cook, he's no Fournette, he's obviously no Hunt. But tonight he's better than McCaffrey. Like, come on, like that offense isn't seizing the opportunity with him. So I mean,
let's go on to the next matchup. Right now I'm 3-0 with my picks. I can see into the future pretty good, except for this next game. Hunt for Freedom versus Gels Frazier. Ding, ding. What happened in this matchup?
I thought this was going to be my week to, just state my claim and just be like, okay, here I come,
Okay.
It didn't happen.
I thought you were going to do this
moves. I really thought it should have happened. I actually got a inspiration to sit Devontae Parker. Honestly, because they kept talking him up.
Thought though, did you?
No, they kept talking him up like he's gonna have a big game. He's gonna have a big game 5 minutes before, and I'm like, oh no, he's about to get hurt. And I wanted to put in Fuller, and I was like, he's gonna beast it again because Watson's just throwing up bombs. So if he catches up one, I'll be good. But I did not take that, and it didn't even matter. My team.
I think if you would have not played Bradford, in which Ryan Grove and we looked at that move and we were like, is he crazy? Monday night? Bradford?
Trubisky? Shoot.
With the injuries? That's what we were really concerned with, was whether or not this guy was going to be rusty for not, being consistently playing each week. And then his knee looked fine. It just, all of a sudden, he just wasn't playing well. I think it was rust.
It's his head. It's his head. I think he was trying to avoid getting hurt again. If I would have kept Sam Bradford for a long-term keeper potential as my second quarterback, if Cousins starts slipping, but whatever.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think Cousins is going to have after this bye week, I think they're going to look good.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you had just made a couple of changes, obviously not playing Bradford, you could have played Mitchell Trubisky and had a decent day. And then if you'd have went with your gut with Devontae Parker, that score might have been a little bit closer.
I still had to do some things to win. Luckily for me, I play in a very weak division. For all these teams talking trash, I'm still only 1 game back, so let's go. It's cool. I'll take this loss. It's not over yet.
With your point totals, it's not over. You have potential to blow up 150 points each and every week from just 3 players.
Right.
Moving on, we got Bull City, and when I dip, you dip. We got another team vying for control of the Eastern Division. Like, both of these guys needed to make a statement, and when I dip, you dip. Like I predicted, soared past Bull City. Now, this is not to say that Bull City he's had as much woes as the southeastern part of our country with all the floods and all this hurricane. It seems like Bull City was the target of some horrible blood magic. My apologies. And I think he's still doing pretty decent.
He is. I mean, his point totals this week was low, but look at his, who could he play? His bench had legitimately 0 points. He had bye weeks everywhere. I tried to make a trade with him before, to get some things off, and I know he really thought about that trade, but it's cool.
You made a trade with him earlier, right? When Johnson went down. I think that trade actually helped him stabilize.
It really did. It really did. Mark Ingram, and now with Adrian Peterson getting traded to the Cardinals too, so that just gives that actually makes him look like a good trade for him.
It takes less confusion out of that backfield. It's Kamara, Ingram, 1-2 punch, not 1-2 uppercut. You know what I mean?
Solidifies his lineup so he doesn't have to worry about whether to play Diggs or Thielen at the same time. So I mean, it's fair. And he still gets to keep David Johnson on his IR bench for next year just in case. So he's got moves to make.
That's still tradable. Before November 1st, there's a lot of guys I think about when trading. We'll see how relevant they come here in the next month.
I'm trying to make a move with this man. He knows if he really wants to be serious, let's go. And we talk, so it's cool. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Now, we had one more matchup. Let me take a look. Could you tell me who was
flawless victory and a storm and brewing? A storm is brewing and flawless victory.
Okay, that was the final matchup, and flawless victory to me. He's probably the most absentee owner we have right now, but given his circumstances with the hurricanes and the flooding of his home, I really can't blame him. He's the only one with still $100 in his free agency, even though he did try to make a move last night and get Phillip Rivers. But Odell Beckham went down, gave him some points.
Yep,
but it still wasn't enough for the V. You know what I mean?
Man, I feel like this. I'm glad he took this L because I needed it, and I feel bad for him this week because Sammy Watkins 0 points. Like, how you play the whole game, like in a in a offense like St. Louis is right now and not touch the ball as Watkins. Like that dynamic of a receiver. And he had the 11 points on the bench to win too. Like just one player. Like
it hurts.
It was a very and this is a solid match. Like 136 points. It's 3 teams didn't score over 100 this week. So
it put you in the mix. Like you should have been in the mix.
It should have been in the mix. That's how I felt this whole season, you know. So he knows now. So
he knows, and
he's been known.
The first 2 weeks we were kind of like wondering, you know, what's going on with his team. But these past 2 weeks, and going into the 5th week, he looked like a player to take that division. Now I'm not so sure with OBJ gone.
OBJ's out. Carlos Hyde. We don't know what's going to happen with him.
He's some Matt Breida just because he sounds like a cheese, and I love me some Breida.
I dropped him last week. I know. I've seen it. I've had all these players that are going off. Just to let y'all know, I'll be on this. One day Cohen's gonna go off for somebody, so we'll see.
Okay.
Either way.
Out of all of those matchups, yours was the only one I couldn't predict. I don't know. Got a sweet spot for you. I don't know why I keep picking you. It's really your explosive nature. Your explosive team could go off for 250 if the stars align and the moon is in its lunar cycle. I don't know. Your team has potential. I know. What is up with Martavis Bryant though? Like I'm just about to drop him. Like what? That entire offense is finna go through Brown and Bell. I remember a time where 60% of that offense was Brown, Bell. Brown, Bell. I think that's where they're finna fall back to. Especially going.
It has to. I think Roethlisberger's actually falling back, and even said so after the game this week. He's like, maybe I don't got it anymore. I know it was being sarcastic.
He looked at that reporter like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, I'm not ready.
He did throw.
He's like, maybe
he did throw 5 INTs. I know. Well, maybe he needs to throw it to Bryant more, and he'll have it. So let's go. Let's go.
Bell. I think. If you were gonna trade Martavis Bryant, which I think you did put in some trade, before we get in the transaction section of our show, let's go ahead and I want you to tell me who you think was most improved this week.
Okay, most improved. Man, I'm gonna have to give it to the best game of the week, and I'm gonna have to give it to a Stormers Bruin. Like. That game against Flawless Victory, it was a tough match. Like, he didn't score the most points, you know, but it was a tough match, and he put in the right players. And just like you said last week, his pickup of Fournette is really paying off dividends. And Andy Dalton just throwing it up to AJ Green like that, like he's actually got a very, very solid squad because he even's got cards.
I had him most improved last week. He's not my most improved this week.
I just maybe then I should like him for consistency.
I mean, most consistent. Yeah, it could be a new award, maybe. But right now, my most improved has to go to Chicago Chalupas.
I knew you were gonna say that. I know.
Super dud last week, and said, "You know what, fellas? I'm not done. Did you think I was done? Wrong." That's what he said. Wrong. And came in and put up the most dominant performance of the week.
I'll give it to you. Because he spent the money on Aaron Jones, he got a solid running back. That's what his team has been missing. His wide receivers are still weak, but if one other one plays good next to Antonio Brown, he's going to have a solid game. So, honestly, exactly. I'll give it to you. That is most improved, definitely. Most improved.
Give me your stud. Who did you think was fantasy stud of the week?
See, I would have rather have given it to Chicago Chalupas because he did put up those points. But I mean, like 186 points is a lot of points. But the next consistent person who I like, a Stormer Bruin is about to be very consistent. He's got a solid squad. Your team, however, with the line, with your running back play, even though they didn't produce for you last week, and that trade that you made to answer for the loss of production, because that's consistency. So I'll give it to you.
So you're giving me fantasy stud? Whoa, my friend, I'm going to let you know you are 100% correct. Fantasy stud. Is this the second week in a row?
You shouldn't have got it last week. You're just being selfish last week. Like, what are you mean? Like, you didn't.
About that. Fantasy stud goes to disabled vigilantes. Vigilantes with Deshaun Watson coming off that trade. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's boomer bust. He's not good." He ran, even though it was a lot of garbage time. It showed me one thing, is that Bill O'Brien thinks that Deshaun Watson can win in any given situation, and had they not given up that punt return to Tyreek Hill, this would have been an interesting situation.
It's because he was playing. It's because he was playing against me. Well, not Tyreek Hill, but Kansas City's defense. If you notice, like Hernandez, like his team was garbage, like all day, and then all of a sudden at the fourth quarter, it's like, hey, let all your players just get a random touchdown. Oh, the defense can get a touchdown.
Are you Hunter Henry can get a touchdown. The king of garbage time.
Last week he was. He should not have got that victory. But I didn't even put up the points. Like, I mean, good on him for getting garbage time TDs when a team doesn't perform. But you're not going to get those every week. Hunter Henry's garbage. Well, he should be better. But
all right. Now, I want you to tell me, this is important, who is the dud of this week?
The dud for me is myself. I'm going to be honest. Like, I have... there's some good teams in the division, but this was my prime week to take charge, you know? Like, I would have been tied for first or even been in first with my points, you know, if I would have put up the points, and then coming into a week playing you next, you know, which we'll talk about later. That it was just a defining moment that I didn't take advantage of. So when I put up less than 100 points, I am disappointed in myself. And even though there were some more garbage teams, even in my division, which helped me out, I expected that. So even though last week's guest told you that Classy Strippers would be the dud, he was the dud, but I didn't take advantage of the opportunity. So which is deadlier, you know?
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you are my fantasy dud of the week. That was some pretty good intuition. I don't know where that came from, because Classy Strippers definitely could have earned it. But you just, I don't know, playing Bradford, that move really got me, man. And then
who was I going to play as the quarterback? Who was I going to play as a quarterback? There was not a lot of options.
I would have played Trubisky. I would have done anything besides play a guy whose knee is hollowed out. It's almost like termites that don't eat wood but eat bone has went into that guy's knee.
To be honest, I would have played Trubisky if the game would have been closer. So I just figured by Monday night it was already pretty much over. So I wanted to get the connection from Bradford to Thielen.
I feel you on that. But I was playing a rookie quarterback is always, you know, suspect. But not as suspect as a guy that ain't played in 3 weeks.
I would have played him because that's his favorite. Isn't Chicago? Isn't the Bears his favorite squad?
Oh, that is.
Or is that his?
Down goes Frazier's favorite team. Yes.
Yeah, I would have loved to have Trubisky beat him, you know, and win the game. That would have been amazing. That would have
been super sweet. Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
oh well. Fantasy stud, myself. Fantasy dud, yourself. And my most improved goes to a guy in my division who probably has a good chance. I don't think he's going to win the division, but he has a good chance to make the playoffs in that 4th place role.
I don't know. We'll see. Because he still needs to win, like, on a consistent basis. We have to see what Aaron Jones is going to do when Montgomery comes back. I believe that they want a bigger running back in that role. That's why I was so high up on Williams. He's just not producing, but we'll see what happens. And I still think he needs to make a trade. Chicago Tulip needs to make a trade for a better wide receiver, or at least a more consistent second wide receiver. He knows he's lacking. He's just got the favorable matchups this week to be blessed enough to be where he's at. So stay humble and keep going. So yeah, good on him.
With that, let's segue into what you're talking about, transactions.
Let's go.
You, my friend, are king of trades.
I put the offers out there.
Can put the trades down. let's go ahead. I want you to recap. What do you think was the most impactful trade made so far?
The most impactful trade made so far probably was your trade for Deshaun Watson and Matt Ryan. Like, honestly, I think that sets you up. See, you're in a great place. You're already first in your division, but that sets you up for, like, Watson is a beast. He should have kept him because I know he doesn't have one of the wide receivers to match him up with, but he's better than Matt Ryan in fantasy-wise because he's going to run and he's got healthy wide receivers and he's got an offense who loves to throw the ball. And there's a difference this year in Atlanta, and everybody knows it and everybody can see it. If Julio Jones stays healthy, that's going to be a good, he's got his quarterback, wide receiver combo. I had that last year late in the season, and it got me far into the playoffs. The grind is really looks like he's sitting in a good place, but I think the best trade of the season was that trade. I still like Hogan over.
Of course, I love Hogan. I just know that trade wouldn't have went down. If I could have got Watson for Matt Ryan straight up, and it's possible. I didn't throw it in there like that because I wanted to make it so sweet that he hit the accept button.
Yes, I understand. You gave up for what you wanted, but honestly, I'm not mad at it. I know there's going to be games when he gets. I don't think there's going to be a game where he gets less than 12 points, though. That's the thing. I can't see it.
He can throw 3 interceptions and force fumble twice, I think, and that's minus 10. I still think he's in the ballpark for 10 to 15 points if that situation occurs.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting benched. Like Tom Savage, if he threw 3 interceptions, he's getting benched in a second. But just because Watson can put out, on the field, like he opens up so much for everybody, he can extend the play. So throw 3 picks. And then the next play, he's still going to throw 50-yard down the field because they're going to be like, oh, get your confidence back. So, and then Will Fuller. So, I mean.
He's got the weapons.
He's got weapons. He just needs to start working in this tight end more. Yeah. And we'll see what happens because he can check down. So if he's smart enough to start checking down, then that's going to be a good play too. And, so there's still options out there on the waiver wire for people to be thinking about. I'm always looking. I love trades. This is what I do. I think that is the most influential trade of the season. I've made some moves. Like you said, J.J. is more solid than Cohen, even though he does. He's still getting the bulk of the carries, and there's nobody behind him to take that. Cohen's in the mix with Howard, but he is very, very explosive. So with limited
production, high volatility, he can go off if the Bears decide to put their offense in high gear. Right now, I think Cohen he's not a good play yet.
I think he is. I think with Trubisky, because Trubisky can run. So, and like you said, exactly. They just got to get their chemistry together. Once he starts wanting to check down instead of run out the pocket all the time, and instead of using a tight end, uses running back who is explosive.
Cohen's going to have 8 catches a game.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I picked him up at the beginning, and dropped Jeremy Hill. I was like, this is the reason why I want to keep changing my team name is because this year it's about the rookies. Let's not lie. Like it's about them. They're coming and they're coming strong. So I'm gonna just play them, see how they do.
Free agency. We got the $100 budget, right? You got all season, and you can't go over $100. What do you make of the free agent pool right now? Like, is some teams going to be in trouble? Are teams going to be in trouble?
There's going to be teams in trouble because like we just talked about with that trade that you made, like the grind is real is in trouble because his team is solid, but let 2 people get injured in weeks 6 and 7, back-to-back weeks. One time. He's only got $29 left or something like that. Like something small. Like just not enough money. Yes, he has $29 left. Like he's got a solid record, so he's got a cushion to sit on. But don't get injured because that takes away his trade values, that takes away his money because he don't got none. Like he's going too fast. And he needed to just be chill because his lineup was perfect in the first place. He didn't need to get some of the players that he got.
Right.
I understand
made a mistake
why.
with Wendell Smallwood. I thought that he was going to be more productive for weeks out, but I think his injury status and the way the Philadelphia Eagles are just running that offense, maybe he'll come back and become a major player in that offense. That was my one free agent mistake.
They just picked up Kenyon Barner back, and I don't know. Clemens is there too. It's pretty good, and the rookies. I'm all about the rookies. I don't know. There's some teams on top who are hurt. Like the grind is real. Even though he has $29, he's not as bad off as Chicago Chalupas, because he's made the worst mistake by putting what did he put $35 on somebody who dropped like a week later.
Yeah,
like
that's you can't do that.
And he's got.
Especially if you plan to be a playoff team, you can't do that.
You cannot do that. He shouldn't have bet that high. He's got $34 left. He's number 2 in the division, fighting for spots. He still has moves to make. So honestly, overall, like when I look at the field standing wise, like in a division where he's only one game back, and at 3-2 with $34 left, I'd rather be in my position at 1-4, one game back with $94 left, because and trade value. Like he's gonna have to make a crucial move, and he's trying to get rid of Aaron Rodgers to do that, which is the best thing he's possibly got. And there's some things. There's some moves to be made for everybody, but free agency wise, people are slipping up too early. Trade wise,
we haven't even reached the high point of the bye weeks yet.
A lot of injuries have happened. A lot of injuries have happened, and we don't know where to go. So we have to be looking deep on that waiver wire to see, and just keep on it, guys. Like $34, I make a lot of my moves in and out of the week, and there's some things you got to, bad.
All right, let's go into the future. Since we've already looking there for the free agents, let's go ahead and make some picks, shall we?
Okay. Let's do it.
I don't really have a game of the week right now. I mean, I'm looking around, and there's a lot of important matchups. But if I had to go with a game of the week, I'm going with the Brother Bowl.
I knew it. I'm looking at it right now.
The Brother Bowl. Hernandez versus Hernandez. Dang, Mom. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how much shit they're going to be talking to each other because they do love each other. But all fair in love and fantasy football, baby.
Man, this is a good matchup. Like, this is a very, very good matchup. Tom Brady against Aaron Rodgers. You got solid running backs. I don't know about that Adrian Peterson in Arizona just starting off.
But AP until I know. If I am down goes Frazier, I'm too far back in the standings to be like, let me take a risk on this 30-year-old back.
Right? Like in the area. I mean, is he more explosive than anybody in Arizona? They traded for him because they said that CJ2K doesn't have it, so he's going to get the workload. Anybody else? Jarvis Landry is going to be the only healthy one in Miami right now against Atlanta. Snead's coming back. I mean, a lot of targets. Hunter Henry, though, I love Hunter Henry. Like, projected 12 touchdowns by the end of the season. That's what I said before this. But he's just not getting that target load from Phillip Rivers. And he keeps starting Nelson Aguilar, who got him that garbage long one last week. That pissed me off. But you know, like, look at Nelson Aguilar's stat line. Like, how he ain't had nothing into. Oh my goodness,
it's eating you up inside. Don't let it eat at you.
I wouldn't start Nelson Aguilar against Carolina.
I wouldn't start Nelson Aguilar, but my team is a little better, so I'm not starting Nelson Aguilar.
And I don't trust Danny Amendola on the other side, so it's a good matchup. This is a solid. Who do I have winning? I'm going to have to go with the
Brother Bowl. Who wins? Big Brother, down goes Frazier, or Little Brother, Chicago Chalupas?
I'm going to have to go with down goes Frazier.
Down goes Frazier pulls off the upset. Are you serious? You kidding me right now? You're picking
No, I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers, Melvin Gordon, Antonio Brown, Jordan Reed, and Telvin Smith going with the touchdown, 10 tackles, and come on. We're going with freaking Chicago Chalupas. I just don't want him to win. Chicago Chalupas.
Chicago Chalupas. We are in agreement now. Chicago Chalupas will beat Big Brother. Down goes Frazier. Knock him down on the mat. But I think it'll be closer. I think your hesitancy is indicative that it will be close. But down goes Frazier, wins that matchup.
It's going to be a fun matchup.
He will lose that matchup in close fashion.
Fun one to watch.
Let's go to our matchup.
Okay.
Who do you got winning this one?
Man, looking at this squad, you have a powerful lineup, but KC, I don't know. I think Pittsburgh gets shut down in KC. It's a tough environment to play in. I actually think, to be honest with you, this is why I'm so disappointed about myself last week, because I'm going to beat you this week.
You're going to beat me.
Your running back play this week is going to get shut down. They're going into some homes that are tough to play in. Jacksonville is actually really tough to play in. Kansas City is tough to play in. And I like your wide receivers, Hopkins, but Fitzgerald and Garcon, they're PPR guys. They're just going to catch you some balls.
That's all I want to do. I just want 10 points minimum for my wideouts and let my running backs do the heavy lifting. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. I don't see your lineup producing this week, though.
Oh, okay.
Only because of the defenses they're playing. If you look at them, and it's a lot of the same players. So if one person gets shut down, I think a lot of them will get shut down. I'm going up actually against some more favorable matchups. I need Miami and Atlanta to be an explosive game. Deshaun Jackson at Arizona. Arizona's been giving up.
And then Patrick Peterson's going to be all over Mike Evans. But it'll be the rest. Patrick Peterson went off on the rest of the secondary because they were giving up so many plays.
Exactly, and Winston's going to throw the ball down the field if they're up or down. So, and I have Fuller to catch up with Watson. If he's going to throw a touchdown, I'm going to get your points. Let's work it out.
Okay.
I'll take some.
Let me go ahead and squash this, okay? Because I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you like you stole something. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but I'm going to give it to you this week. This week, I'm probably going to put up closer. To 200 than you like to believe. Now, the only way you're going to beat me is if you have 4 or 5 people get 40-plus touchdowns. That's the only way. Only way you beat me. And, my friend, I'm telling you right now, you ain't going to do it.
Who's it coming from, though?
Who's all these points coming from?
Yeah.
My backs. They're going to do the heavy lifting. Contrary to your belief, Jacksonville is going to be so worried about stopping Jared Goff. They've got a great secondary. They've got a great secondary in Jacksonville. So what does that mean? The linemen are finna just put the hog mollies on their backs and let Todd Gurley hurdle everybody in the secondary. That's what's going to happen. Le'Veon Bell, he's going to be a part of a 60% production team of Brown, Bell, and Big Ben. That's what's finna happen. I'm looking at 20, 30 points from each one of those backs. We're going to move on because I can talk all day about how I could just mollywop you and just make you eat dirt outside in the heat.
Bell for production. Bell for production. He'll get you 18 points this week.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's move on to some matchups that I think you find really interesting. Flawless victory versus classy strippers. First of all, who do you want to win, and who do you think will win?
Now, classy strippers does not have the squad. He can hide his lineup all he wants to. He does not have it right now. Just because even if we go back, he doesn't have it. Flawless victory is going to get this win because of consistent play. He's gonna get a better quarterback in there because Dak's on bye, but he's just got good production. Like, they'll put up enough points to win. Carlos Hyde, until he breaks down, is going to get the running back play, just like Murray. Like, so ride them until they break. I'm not worried about flawless victory in the long run because of that injury-prone streak, but ride them until they break. And he's going to get this win and come tie this division up and make it look really, really, really ugly. Like, whew.
Just gonna make it look like a big dumpster fire. But I'm gonna have to disagree with you yet again.
Okay.
Classy Strippers active on the waiver wire. The only thing he hasn't been doing is making trades. But for a team in the Central Division, there's not a whole lot of trading you can do. I mean, especially Classy Strippers team. Classy Strippers team is pedestrian. If you looked up in the dictionary and saw the word pedestrian, you would see a Classy Stripper performing at 2 p.m. That's what you would see.
Dude, Amari Cooper hasn't done anything this season. He doesn't have running backs. He could be active, but Marlon Mack is hurt. Darkwa, come on. You could be active on the waiver wire, but you didn't you're not picking up production to put in all of these different spots. Like, man, okay.
All right. We only have one pick that is the same, and that is the Brother Bowl. So let's move on to Bull City and Lazy Pugs. Who do you got winning this matchup?
Bull City against Lazy Pugs. This is another good matchup. I think Bull City has a good team. I made that trade with Lazy Pugs because I don't know about Cohen's next few weeks. Like, Baltimore, he still has a connection between Michael Thomas and Drew Brees, but that connection hasn't been as big as I expected it to be.
Going into the bye week, it looked pretty nasty.
Yeah. He's got a good team. He picked up Austin Hooper to put in for his tight end. Thomas is going to go off for him, but I just think Bull City has so many wide receivers and Gronk. Like his lineup is just strong. Like, if you want to talk about 200 points this week,
this guy lost David Johnson.
He lost David Johnson.
Think about how nasty his team really could be.
Right? Right, like he picked up Phillip Rivers. That was the best move for $17.
That was the best free agent move, I think. And I was going to try, but I was like, you know what?
That's too high.
Because I got both my quarterbacks on bye next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead. I'm just gonna pick up whoever's playing the worst.
I think there'll be a fill-in. That was a great pickup for him because it fills in a lot for his lineup. Like, his lineup is good. He's somebody who I would watch. I know he's 2-3, but all of our teams are close. He's the farthest one back. Actually, I feel bad for him.
The Chargers are gonna get it together, and
they are.
I kind of root for Bull City. I do, even though he's in my division. I kind of root for him, especially with all the peril that he's been accosted. So I got Bull City winning that one too. I just did.
Yeah. It's got a solid squad.
Okay. Now let's go to the Grind is Real versus When I Did, You Did. Now the Grind is Real is arguably the second best team in the league behind me. So who do you have winning this matchup?
Okay, so the Grind is Real puts up a lot of points, but his lineup is actually not that solid. Marshawn Lynch is falling off. Javarius Allen is going to is in and out of losing his job all the time. And Michael Crabtree, though he's the best wide receiver in Oakland, has to have a consistent wide receiver play. Julio Jones is one play away from getting hurt, and Chris Hogan is still going to be solid. Like, his wide receivers are the best things going for him.
This is the week Zeke is out. I mean, this is the week Zeke
exactly. This is the week Zeke is out. And honestly, we still don't know what's up with Zeke. But he second best team. No.
Oh. No. He's not even there.
No, because without Zeke, look at his lineup.
I've seen it, and I'm not gonna say I'm not impressed.
And I'm not impressed. But guess what? He's going up against a team who has Isaiah Crowell as a starting running back and Alvin Kamara. Though Alvin Kamara is putting up points this week, weeks, and with the trade for Adrian Peterson, he's going to get more workload share.
Who wins? Who wins?
Who wins?
Who wins this matchup?
The grind is real. The grind is real wins this matchup just because there's no way that Duke Johnson, Alvin Kamara, and Isaiah Crowell win you a fantasy week. They shouldn't. They're good players, but not on the same squad.
Oh, no, man. When you talk about consistent production, they are consistently less than pedestrian when it comes to production. So they're gonna give you points. They're just not gonna give you enough for the victory. I got the grind is real winning this one, and quite frankly, I don't think it's gonna be close. I really don't. Even with Zeke out, this is your chance to hit that guy in the mouth.
He's not gonna do it. I would love to talk about the top 10, like who's the best, because it's so spread out. Either way, the grind as well's got this for sure.
Last matchup, Miami Dice versus a Storm is brewing. Both of these teams could see some playoff action. This could be a fight for playoff decisions. Right now, a Storm is brewing is in the predicted playoff bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami Dice is in a similar boat. Now, give me your take.
His pickup of Ed Dickson was nice. I wanted to pick him up. I needed a tight end this week. He spent a little bit more money on it. This is going to be another close week. He decides to put Carson Wentz in against Carolina, who's throwing the ball very nice these days. He's got
Wentz versus Newton. Wentz versus Newton.
Exactly, Wentz versus Newton. But Miami Dice got Zach Ertz, so he's eating too. But then it's back and forth. Oh, this is going to be a great game. The only the difference is I think Zach Ertz gets a touchdown and Ed Dickson doesn't.
Yeah.
But Fournette though is going to.
Is the difference maker?
He's going to get shut down against a strong Rams defense. So I say
the Rams have been giving up a lot of yards to running backs.
So this is the thing. No. They have been, but I think that he's going to get shut down by a tough Rams defense. I don't know why, and I pull for Miami Dice this week. Other than that, yeah. That's the one thing. Terrell Pryor gets on page with Kirk Cousins and goes off. I just feel it happen. There's something there. And Keenan Allen gets hurt just because the Chargers.
I don't remember who I selected. I can't remember who I selected for this matchup.
This is a good one.
But if I didn't select Miami Dice, I made a mistake. I'm going with Miami Dice to win this matchup.
Zach Ertz is going to be the difference maker for his squad.
I think Freeman coming off the bye, Cam Newton.
Miami's weak too. That is true.
This is going to be one of those matchups where I think Atlanta can score over 40, and most of it be from their defense. But then there's a huge running game aspect in there too. So Jay Cuddy is not going to do well down there in Atlanta. It's just not going to happen.
This is so crazy, man. This is so crazy. I feel so these are some very good matchups these weeks, and people have. The Stormers Bruin is going to fall out of a playoff picture because of a loss like this, and it seems like this is happening week in and week out. So don't be worried about these little losses here and there because there's teams in divisions who are still we're all one game back pretty much.
Okay.
Stormers Bruin.
It's not a walk away. Nobody is walking away. Even in our division in the East. A lot can happen in 2-3 weeks. A lot can change the face of that playoff picture. Same with the Central Division and their bottomness. You know what I mean? I doubt you'll get a wild card. So it's about being those games back. You don't want to be 3 games back in that division.
No, you do not.
That'll be a bad day.
That's why I feel bad for Bull City because he's got a solid squad. It is 2 games back, and it's not looking good for him. But
that'd be an uphill climb if I'd ever seen one. Who do you think has the best division?
Look, I know you guys have the most wins in your division as the East. I say that you are the best team, Disabled Vigilantes. Chicago Chalupas got 2 easy victories in the beginning that shouldn't have happened. So I say they fall off. But consistency wise, like throughout the West, everybody is 3-2, like or better. That's gonna be the division where 2 teams are coming out of the playoffs. How could it not be? Like Chicago Chalupas needs to start scoring a lot of points to keep up with just teams who have records that are consistently high.
Just make the wild card, right?
Just to make the wild card. The West is strong. The West is strong because I don't even think the Grind is Real is the best team in that division. That's why I'm saying he's not number 2. You have the best squad right now based off of division, based off of record alone, even over and points. The Grind is Real started off fast. He's starting to slow down, and we're going to see some things throughout the season where players aren't going to be able to produce as highly as he would like them to, and he might fall off in a tough division. So let's just be cognizant.
My poll has to do with the Central Division, your division. If you
we can
guess, who is going to come out as the divisional champ in the Central Division?
You get me on this. You know. I have to say myself.
Okay. Enlighten.
I'm last right now, but honestly, I know Classic Strippers is going to fall off. There's teams that are, I feel like, that are very good in our division. Miami Dice and Flawless Victory have both had bad games, but they have there's some depth there that they can work with, and there's some potential there. But I have the best squad, and I've just been getting.
I say you have the best player. You have the best player.
The best player.
About squad.
I like my squad. I like the potential that I have on my squad for both big plays and regular consistency. I have some PPR beasts as wide receivers who can get me 10 points a game. I honestly could have won 2 weeks just by playing my best lineup. But that could be said for a lot of players. I think I'm going to win this division. I know I'm going to win this division. I just don't want it to be 6-6 again, because
I think it's going to be 5-7. I really
honestly, I might be 5-7, win this division, and win $1,800 number 1 winning this.
Win Kareem. Stop it! Come on. Points. Who I have winning your division is none other than the team with the second best name, Miami Dice. Jeffrey White. I really like his team, and I like where he's going. I just think he'll rise to the top. I'm with you with Classy Strippers. He experienced a lot of injuries that I don't know if he'll be able to overcome, and that's why he's waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning on that fucking waiver wire, because he knows his team needs some kind of revitalization.
Miami Dice has he has a good team. Wide receivers are strong if they produce. I don't know. Kelvin Benjamin, we don't know what's going to happen. Terrell Pryor hasn't done anything yet. Mike Evans is still consistently good, but he hasn't had that breakout game yet. He's got a solid lineup. He does. And no injuries yet. So, I mean, I'm worried about him, but not too bad. Like, he has 2 more points than I do right now. And he's also a team who's had a lot of points scored against him. Like, me and him have had a lot of points scored against us. So you have to come strong to play. Yeah, you have to come strong to play us. So, I mean...
be prepared to get some more points scored on you, buddy.
200. I'm coming for it this week, so we'll see.
All right. This video has gone incredibly long, but I do enjoy talking to you. I do enjoy chatting, getting your ideas, your thoughts on the league. But we got to wrap this up. Aaron Hill, team name to be disclosed later, but currently the Hunt for Freedom.
Let's make some trades.
All right, bro. I'm going to holler at you. Everybody in the league, good luck. Peace.